Good morning, students. How are you? So, students, today I will ask you some questions before proceeding with the chapter. So, students, you might have observed so many applications related to this chapter at your home, nearby your home, at the construction site. So, let me ask you some questions. So, students, have you ever observed taking out of stones from the soil or taking out of tea leaves from the tea before serving it, or taking out of salt from the water? These are the basic phenomena which used to be happen every day. So students, today we will study why we need to do this and what are the processes methods involving in it. So students, let us start our chapter with with why we need to do separation. So students, we need to do separations in order to remove unwanted product or substances present in the mixture. So student, what is mixture? Mixture is the component of two or more substances. When two or more substances are mixed together, then we call it a mixture. Just you have eaten a mixture at your home, you can see there are so many things mixed in it. That's why we call it a mixture. So student, now we will discuss what are the methods involved in this separation. So students, it depends upon the nature of the component. If two solids are mixed, we use four processes called winnowing, threshing, hand picking and sieving. And when two liquids are mixed, we use the process called filtration. And when one solid and one liquid are mixed, then we use the two processes at one time, evaporation and condensation or sedimentation and decantation. So we will study all these processes one by one. So student, first we will discuss what is hand picking. As you have seen your mother picking up stones from the rice at your home or pulses. She done this by using his hand. So process by which we use our hand to remove unwanted dirt particles from the mixture is called hand picking. There are so many examples of hand picking you have seen at your home. So students, let us discuss now the next process, which is called winnowing. Winnowing is the process in which we use the wind or air force to remove the dust particles, because here the dust particles are light in weight. Now students, we have seen many examples of this too at your home. By removing of chaff from the rice or pulses, you have seen your mother or your elder doing this process. Now student, the next process is threshing. Have you observed farmer taking out wheat from the chaff? Yes student, this removal of chaff from the wheat called threshing. So student, threshing is done in mainly three ways, either manual or by the use of machine or by the use of animal. Nowadays, it is very common to use machine to do this threshing. Now student, we will move forward to
Sieving. Sieving is the process of removing unwanted particles from the mixture by the use of sieve or strainer. For example, removing of tea leaves from the tea.
and we will study separation of
Separation of substance. We all must have observed in our daily life that we need to separate substances from mixtures of two or more substances. For example, tiny impurities are removed from rice before being cooked. What is the need for separation of substances? Substances need to be separated from each other to remove impurities or to get two or more useful products. In this experiment, we will learn about the various techniques of separation of substances. There are various methods for separating substances such as hand picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving, and magnetic separation. Let's begin with hand picking. Hand picking is a technique for separating impurities or substances which are a bit large in size and distinct in color, so that it can be easily picked from hand. For example, impurities like stones and husk are removed from rice before cooking. Let's get down to the next one. Threshing. This method of separating is generally used by farmers to separate grains from stalks. In threshing, farmers basically beat the dry stalks to shake off the dried grains. Third is winnowing. The process of separation of lighter and heavier particles from the mixture by wind or blowing air is called winnowing. The farmers use this technique to separate husk from grains. Sieving. Sieving is used to separate substances that are of different sizes. In this method, a sieve is used. The smaller components of the mixture can pass through the pores of the sieve, whereas bigger components of the mixture are retained by the sieve. Magnetic separation. This method is used to separate mixture of two solid substances where one of the components of the mixture is a magnetic substance. For example, if we have a mixture of sand and iron fillings, the iron fillings can be separated by the use of magnet.
So you have seen a filter machine established at your house, and also you must have observed your boiling the water in order to kill germs and dirt particles present in the water. So this process is called filtration.
Children, after preparing tea, this tea stall owner pours the mixture into the tea strainer. The tea passes through the holes of tea strainer, leaving behind the tea leaves in it. This process of separation is known as filtration. Filtration, however, cannot remove the solid substances dissolved in a liquid. Sometimes fine particles of the solid component pass through the strainer that is used as the medium for filtration. In such a situation, filter paper is used. A filter paper is a special paper which has millions of tiny holes in it. While the liquid can pass through these holes, the solid particles remain on the filter paper. The liquid which passes through the filter paper is called the filtrate. The solid particles that are left behind the filter paper are called the residue.
So you have seen a filter machine established at your house, and also you must have observed your boiling the water in order to kill germs and dirt particles present in the water. So this process is called filtration. Now students, we will move forward to this next process. When one liquid and one solid mixture are present, we move this process by using two methods at one time, either sedimentation and decantation or evaporation and condensation. So we will discuss one by one. What is sedimentation? When the mixture is left undisturbed for a few minutes, and by leaving that mixture what we do? We make the solid particle settle down at the bottom. This process is called sedimentation. Once the particle is sediment that is settled down at the ground of the container, we transfer the water or liquid from one container to another container without disturbing this solid particle. This is called, yes students, this is called decantation. So students, you must have observed this process.
Jack filled a beaker with muddy water and left it undisturbed for some time. After some time, he was surprised to see the beaker. Let us also look to find the reason for his surprise. The beaker had clear water. Mud, being heavy, had settled down at the bottom of the beaker, while the water formed the upper layer. This process of deposition of mud at the bottom of beaker is called sedimentation, and the layer of mud is called the sediment. Jack separated the upper layer of water from the mixture by gently pouring the clear water into another beaker without disturbing the sediment. This process of separation of a liquid from the sediment is called decantation. Similarly, there are other separation methods too. Let us discover them in this module.
Is evaporation and condensation. So here we goes.
Condensation and evaporation. What we do in this process, we just leave the mixture under the sunlight for a few minutes, depending upon the nature of the component, so that the liquid evaporates by the heat of the sun and solid remains at the surface. So student, after doing this process is known as evaporation, because here the liquid evaporates from the solution, leaving behind the solid. This is called evaporation. Now when we condense this, cool down this solid particles to arrange it to obtain this solid in original form, this is called condensation. So student, if you have any issue till here, you can ask me by sending your queries on my personal WhatsApp number or your audio clips. But student, remember that should be in English. Now students, I would like to give you some homework regarding this topic. As our topic is over today, so which are written on the whiteboard also, you can see the first homework is complete all the exercises at the back of chapter, and second one is make a video using any one of the methods. The help of elders. At your home. Remember, in video, you should use the mode of communication as English, and submit this homework at my personal number by writing your names, roll number, and class at the last. Okay, thank you.